This podcast is part of the TPS Radio Sports Podcast Network at www.tpsradio.net.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Crazy.
Here we go.
I'm jumping out of my skin. I can't believe the Steelers won.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Pittsburgh's won the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Here we go.
Steelers gonna win the Super Bowl.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Pittsburgh's won the Super Bowl. Here we go. Super Bowl, baby!
Thursday, February 26, 2009. Steel Curtain Radio number 3, a Steeler podcast for a Steeler Nation on whatchatalkingabout.com. Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Steel Curtain Radio, and you're checking out Steel Curtain Radio number 3, a Steeler podcast for a Steeler Nation. As always, the show is hosted by yours truly, Lance Williams, and you can check out the program and download the program via an iTunes feeder, and the home of the program is whatchatalkingabout.com. As always, if you want to participate in the program, we have two ways. You can hit us with a phone call because I know you guys got a lot of questions and you want to hear my thoughts on the franchise tag being offered and signed by Max Starks. So if you want to chime in on that, hit me at 206-202-4468. Or you can jump on the boards, and there's two ways to get to the boards. Go to whatchatalkingabout.com, hit the forums tab. It'll take you to tpsradio.net. Once you're there, hit the forums tab, put the appropriate information in, and join one of the most active Steeler boards on the internet. Or you can go directly to tpsradio.net and join their message boards and get involved on the boards for Steel Curtain Radio. Want to thank the guys over at tpsradio.net. Now that whatchatalkingabout.com is a proud affiliate of tpsradio.net. As always, we have the donation program and we have the t-shirts. To get information on both, go to whatchatalkingabout.com and hit the respective tabs, and you can get your information about both of those issues and programs, both the donation program and how to get t-shirts. In the opening monologue, I want to discuss several terms that are relevant to free agency, as free agency officially opens up tomorrow on February 27th, 2009. First, I want to define the types of free agents. I want to define the types of tags. I want to give you information about the Steelers' cap space in the 2009 business season. And also, I want to provide you with a list of free agents. The basic definition for a free agent is the following, and I want to thank AskTheCommish.com for providing this information. A free agent, according to the National Football Players Association, is a player who is not under contract and is free to negotiate and sign a player contract with any NFL club without draft choice compensation or any right of first refusal. Now, there are three types of free agents in terms of the National Football League. You have unrestricted free agents, restricted free agents, and exclusive restricted free agents. An unrestricted free agent is a player that shall be completely free to negotiate and sign a player contract with any club, and any club shall be completely free to negotiate and sign a player contract with such player without penalty or restriction, including but not limited to draft choice compensation between clubs or first refusal rights of any kind. Basically, an unrestricted free agent is a player who is completely free to sign with a different club without compensation to his prior club or the prior club does not have the right to refuse his ability to go out and get a new deal. An example of an unrestricted free agent would be Max Stark. The second type of free agent is a restricted free agent. A restricted free agent is any veteran player who's played 3 or more seasons but less than 5 seasons. At the expiration of his player contract during such period, the player shall be completely free to negotiate and sign a player contract with any club, and any club shall be completely free to negotiate and sign a player contract with any such player subject to certain restrictions. Now, here are the restrictions in terms of a restricted free agent. The player's original team maintains the first refusal right if the team tenders a contract offer of 1 year at $1.01 million. So with a restricted free agent, you have what they call the various tender levels. And with a restricted free agent, the tender levels are as follows. The first tender level is the original draft round tender, and it's valued at $1.01 million. If you tender a player on your roster with this tender, you will be compensated whatever that player was drafted. So if you tender a 5th round draft pick with the original draft round tender, the compensation if that player were to sign for another team would be a 5th round pick. The second tender is the 2nd round pick tender. It's valued at $1.54 million. So if you give a player the 2nd round tender and they sign with you, you pay them $1.544 million. However, if that player signs somewhere else, you get a 2nd round pick in exchange for that player leaving your roster. The next 2 tenders are the 1st round pick tender, which is valued at $2.198 million, and the 1st and 3rd pick tender, which is valued at $2.792 million. And the club at which the player is signed has the right to tender a restricted free agent for any of those particular tenders and those amounts. The third and last type of free agent is the exclusive rights free agent, and that's a player who has no more than 2 accrued seasons in the NFL and may only sign with his prior team, provided, of course, that the team extends a minimum qualifying offer to the player. I know that was a lot of information, and if you want to get more details on some of the information I gave you, go to askthecommish.com. But I need to give you guys this information as a backdrop to some of the discussions that we're going to have in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers and their restricted and unrestricted free agents. In addition to the type of free agents that exist under the collective bargaining agreement in the National Football League, NFL teams have 2 other tools at their disposal that provide for greater leverage in securing free agents. The franchise tag, and we've heard the franchise tag discussed in relation to Max Starks, and the transition tag. And we heard about Max Starks getting the transition tag last year. Now, each club can designate one of its players who would otherwise be a UFA, an unrestricted free agent, or an RFA, a restricted free agent, as a franchise player each season. And in the NFL, restricted free agents are never given the franchise tag because of the compensation, the high level of compensation it takes for a club to get a restricted free agent off someone's roster. Currently, there are 2 types of franchise tags. Any club can designate a player as the exclusive or non-exclusive franchise player. An exclusive franchise player shall be the only club with which that franchise player may negotiate or sign a contract. Very rarely are players made the exclusive franchise player. In order to designate an unrestricted free agent or a restricted free agent as an exclusive franchise player, the team must tender the player a 1-year contract that is the minimum of the average of the 5 largest salaries as calculated at the end of the free agency signing period. So if you tendered someone the exclusive franchise player, you would have to pay that player the average top 5 salary in 2009 after the free agent period. That's one of the particular reasons why teams don't do it, because you might as